engine bay is finally finished up. I have everything final welded and painted. All the tube stuff is in the paint booth, and I'm just getting ready to spray the inside of the car and the roll cage. It's awesome how this stuff all just bolts in. I'm pretty much all finished up painting the inside of the car. Cage came out great, the inside of the car came out great. Really happy with it. So this is Holley's rear sump oil pan. It's like basically the same as a F-body pan, except it's got a little bit cooler features to it. It comes with this baffle here, but they also sell this baffle kit here, which has these little trap doors, which kind of open and close. So, you know, as the car goes in corners or whatever, it's not gonna allow oil starvation. I couldn't for the life of me remember what this thing is called.
The baffle?
Yeah.
We'll have that on the bigger jobs.
What's that?
We'll have that on the bigger jobs.
Jim Rickert here.
Yeah.
Rickert's Restorations. What you want to use, you want to go all out, get yourself the baffle kit, spend the extra money. You'll thank me in the long run. You're not going to have oil starvation issues. This one works. The one that's in here is a little bit better.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll probably get a lot of progress on it.
Should be good to go. This is so much easier to use than this. I thought I wanted to buy one of these, but it's like big and cumbersome already. This thing you can like, I don't know, I feel like you can like sculpt better with it. Look at him, he knows what he did. It's only a motor with no dipstick hole. It'll be a giant pain in the ass. So this is an aluminum 5.3 out of, what's this thing out of, an Envoy? What's it out of, a Trailblazer or something, an Envoy? It's out of an Envoy. And the Envoy doesn't have a dipstick in the block, it's in the oil pan. So that's the pan. So there's a spot for it, just needs to be drilled. So this my little trick here is I'm sticking a sandwich bag in there, and that's gonna catch all the shavings.
Schaefer's?
Schaefer's engine oil. Yeah, awesome. Well, 90% of the shavings, 90% didn't go into the motor, but there's a good 10% that went right in, but it's just aluminum. The whole engine's aluminum, so you don't have to worry about shavings in it. Right? Schaefer's actually calls to run aluminum additive. Don't forget your little dab of silicone. There. there, there, and there. So Holley recommends you turn the engine over to make sure there's no clearance issues. I feel like we don't have any clearance issues. I completely forgot to check squareness. The oil pan has to be flush with the transmission mounts or the transmission, I don't know, surface. And this side was close. So I got this motor from Timmy's father, and he saw me coming from miles away. Really got me. Got all kinds of broken manifold bolts. It didn't have a dipstick hole. I think he just needed to unload it, and I was just the guy to buy it. Anyways, one thing that you can do with exhaust manifold bolts is, since they're aluminum heads, you can just weld a bolt onto it. Like I just, stuck it over that. I'll weld that up. Hopefully the heat from the welder going into the bolt will allow the bolt to come out. Typically works every time, but now that I'm filming, it probably won't work. I was gonna paint this thing and it would have been done in 15 minutes. And these guys all tell me I can't paint it because it's stupid and white trash. Black Magic, aluminum wheel cleaner, 3-in-1. Seems to be working. So the whole motor is totally oxidized and I feel like I can't leave it like that. So hopefully using the wheel cleaner will make it better. Just spray this on. Little Scotch-Brite. Timmy's got this like brush thing that goes on a drill and it seems to be working awesome. Let's see. Wow. It's just that easy. This is an aluminum 5.3 out of a GMC Envoy. So it has like the truck pulley on it, and I'm replacing it with like a LS1 style harmonic balancer. So you can kind of see there's quite a bit of a difference as far as like the thickness of them or the depth. So the LS1 style is really a lot tighter to the engine and gives you a bit more clearance. With that, you're gonna have to run a different water pump and different accessories, but I'm gonna put all LS1 style accessories on this. What needs to happen, this just presses on, there's no keyway or anything like that. So you just have to put this in until this lightly bottoms. So kind of get it started. Next thing is just this, this nut just tightens on, so. And this just goes in until it kind of bottoms out. The torque spec on these crank pulleys is 240 foot-pounds, which is an awful lot. Building my car, I wanted to use as many off-the-shelf parts as possible. There's so much stuff, I have all the equipment to build everything from scratch, but it's just not cost-effective to do that. I can obviously make motor mounts and bolt this and make this engine bolt in the car, but Ronin Speed Shop makes a mount kit for this car, and for the money it's just more cost effective to buy what they've already done. The engineering has been done. There's no like figuring it out and then having to like tack it together and then have the motor in and out of the car a handful of times and then weld it up and then powder coat these. It's just like, for the money I can just buy the kit, it shows up, and I can bolt it on the engine and bolt it in the car. Doing the roll cage is the same way. I've built dozens of roll cages in my life, and buying the kit from Cage Kits just made it easy. Like I put the whole roll cage in this car without ever taking a tape measure out and without having to notch one tube. It's basically just, I clean the car and I put the roll cage in. Now let's turn on the engine. These mounts are super straightforward. There's like a centering pin and then the bolt. So you basically just put the little pin in here, and then the bolt goes through the bottom, and then you have a nut and washer which come up from the bottom. Cool. Do need an extension. Now you have a nice seat because you can sit on the motor mount on this side. Again, just line up the pin. All right. Here's a little tip. Anytime you need to Loctite any kind of hardware, always make sure the threads are clean. I see people all the time putting Loctite on dirty, scuzzy threads, and it basically does nothing. So if you put it in a drill like this, running in reverse, like turning left, hold your finger kind of like this on. Now you have a clean bolt ready for any kind of Loctite that you need to put on it. Make sure to have nice clean threads with all this stuff. Clean these off on a wire wheel. Spray out the crank and make with brake parts cleaner and make sure it's nice and clean and dry in there. It's really important to have clean threads when you're going to Loctite something. This is kind of like these flywheel bolts get torqued to 74 foot-pounds.
Sit on the steering rack a little bit.
Is that
Oh, it is.
the trans mount's up in the tunnel? Yeah. So if I drop it down, that'll give us some room. Yeah, you need this. Do you have that clearance? I think so.
In my opinion.
That there is in 5.3 or 5.7. All right, that's it. The motor is in the car and it does not need to come out again. I'm so psyched. The next thing I get to do is take all those parts that I got from Holley, start putting them on the engine. There's light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like I'm gonna have a drift car so soon and I'm so psyched.